Hi, everybody. Welcome to Everything Within You Melts Away. Turgenev, Russia, good society. You know the drill by this point. Hey, there's like maybe one person in the world who's watched all these, and that's me. So I know what I'm doing, sort of. Anyway, my cast is much more sane than me, so I'm going to introduce them slowly and surely. Why don't I start with Leandro, who always sacrifices sleep to do these, and we respect and care for him very much for doing that. And he's playing Viktor Sviatoslavich Volkonsky.
Yeah, I get the feeling if anyone is watching all this, I don't need to explain why or how I'm sacrificing my sleep for this and how it's all very worth it. Yes, Viktor Sviatoslavich Volkonsky, who is the frustrated of a bourgeois background, who has a totally solid marriage, a totally respectful son. None of these caused him to run away from Russia last time in a maybe incredibly desperate plea for attention. Normally, running away from your family to Europe would work, but I don't know about if it will work this time. We'll see. I don't know if his wife would respond. We'll see. It's gonna be a whopper. Yeah.
Everything's going to turn out just fine, like things always do. So let's next move on to the heart and soul of the Kingsport Drama Society, our own most special creator of melodramas, Daryl, and they're playing Marina Stanislavna Volkonskaya, the charming and elegant and stately wife of Viktor, who may or may not have noticed that he's not actually in Russia.
Hello, hello. Yes, Marina did notice that her husband fled Russia eventually. It took a little while, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. We're not counting. It was noted. It was noted. Marina is, as we said, the steely wife of a railroad tycoon, and basically presents herself as such. What did I say last time? She's basically gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, but in Russia, and I think that that's going to continue to hold sway here. The other big secret is that one of the other characters, Vera, is my illegitimate daughter, and no one knows but me and my sister. And yeah, that's definitely going to come out at some point, probably tonight, because the best kept secrets make the biggest splashes, and it's time to make some splashes. So that's Marina.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot. There's nothing I can really add to that. So I'm just going to move straight on to Serafina, who's my trusted collaborator in these. And I know from experience, they're not the same when you're not around for these, Serafina. So please, Serafina is playing Count Arkady Ilyich Katavasov, who is, he's a lot.
He's a lot. He is a deeply melodramatic Russian emo man-child, who, was very much in love with Princess Vera, and then sort of lost her and has never really gotten over it. Of course, he's 20, so, he hasn't had a lot of other experiences, and so this is a very intense one for him. And he's proven himself to be a drama queen in basically every sense of the word. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of weirdness he gets up to this time around.
I mean, honestly, it's the 1860s in Russia. Throw a rock, you're going to hit an emo kid who's a socialist. The only thing he's not a socialist yet. So, speaking of not a socialist yet, yeah. Why don't we go next to my dear, dear friend Richard, who is playing Prince Sergei Leonidovich Zinoviev. What is he now?
What do you mean, what am I now?
Well, you're kind of at loose ends. You don't have a job or anything, right?
I assume I'm still my family's agent. Hi, I'm Richard. I'm playing Prince Sergei, who goes by the Italian name Sergio, because he'd rather be back working as his family's agent on the continent, even though he's been officially disinherited. Which, because it's the 19th century, does not mean you've been fired. It just means you can't expect to finally get paid for your labor as your family's agent, when one of your parents passes away. And he was quick to notice his good friend Viktor had fled the country, specifically because he's had a crush on Viktor for several years, and is pursuing him like the teenager neither of them are anymore, by a long shot. It's been a long time since either of them's been a teenager.
We've done Silver Foxes before.
But have we done Silver Foxes acting like they're still 21?
Well, we've done 20-year-olds acting like they're in their 40s, so turnabout is fair play.
That's just 20-year-olds.
That's fair. You know some interesting 20-year-olds. How did you know me when I was 20? Hi, I'm Kat. She, her. I had the idea to do this a long time ago. It's worked out. I'm playing Princess Vera. She is a charming young girl who is incredibly morose, mopey, and sad because she has lost the love of her life. And she's also 22 and thinks that all these things are true. And she did that because she had to hide the fact that Arkady's father wanted to do things with her that she thought were beneath her honor. And so she broke off their engagement because honor culture is terrible. Also, she seems to be holding up pretty well, despite the fact that her ex-boyfriend is basically a Russian Morrissey. So, I mean, early Morrissey. Let's not go too far here. Anyway, when last we left off, we had actually gone all the way through a cycle, which is fantastic. What are we going to do for a novel chapter? Perhaps we're all back out in the country again? We've done the spring, we've done the winter. We could do the summer or the fall in the country.
I feel like we need to know where Viktor is.
Oh,
because
yeah.
that will determine where Sergei is, because it's since Viktor stormed off.
Has he come back? Yeah.
Maybe we can open up on him just coming back. But that would mean like Sergei and him would have probably spent time in Europe, and maybe, I don't know what would have happened between them.
That could be something that we find out. We could do this very, dramatically, like a play, where the characters talk about, because, we don't have the set to build, an Italy backdrop.
Yeah, no. I was thinking like we would see people like that's we could just be coming back, or we could be on our way back, since Lev has not embarrassed his family in a week.
Maybe this is like one of the first big get-togethers since you guys got back.
Yeah.
What if we do some sort of like citywide event, like a flower show or something like very summery?
That's a question. What's Alexander's name day?
Ooh, yeah, that's actually a very good question. Welcome to Good Society, where we are historically accurate.
August 30th.
Very gay.
August 30th. So it could be the Emperor's name day.
I'm into that.
Yeah, and Viktor has probably spent the time away claiming, I've been doing business. I'd be called away. There was some important business to
So are we in
here.
Are we in the city or are we in the country? If we're in the country, it could be the day that you go and give all your tenants some bounty because it's the Emperor's name day. But if we're in the city, the other scenes suggest themselves.
I think I'm fine with either. I kind of like the idea of it being in the country because I don't know, I'm just getting like shades of like that one Downton Abbey episode where there was the flower competition.
That's
And
what I
would
was
love
thinking
to like
about.
revel in that.
I also am getting
Um,
shades of like Pride and Prejudice, women running through fields in the rain kind of vibes. Yeah.
Although I do have one thing that I wanted to like discuss with Viktor before we kind of dive in, and that's the question of like, I like the idea that you probably came home saying that you were dealing with business, but and feel free to shoot this down, or I can offer you a resolve token or like one of my tags or whatever. But I like the idea that you came home and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I was away on business, and then I was just like there with your assistant penning all of your correspondence and saying, yes, business, of course, and I've been running the business.
Look, I have a credible character witness. Where's Sergei?
I think. Why don't you spend one of your reputation tags for that, Daryl?
Okay, yeah, because I mean, like literally reliable.
Reliable, yeah.
Okay, boom. So if I spend it, does that mean that I lose the like the?
Yeah, but
positive
not
position in the game?
until the next reputation phase.
So all the other connections will still revere you for this novel chapter.
Ha, 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 ha.
Yep. So all you have to do is earn another positive reputation tag this novel chapter. Okay, so
It's gonna be really hard, actually.
Viktor's back. Sergei's back. Arkasha is maybe. Are you going to crash? All right. So we're on the state of the Volkonskis. Maybe like your tenant farmers, because we're post-liberation now, so now they're your tenant farmers, are bringing up flowers for the lady of the house to judge. Do we want to like set this like a stage play, like a sitting room, the Volkonsky house, two French doors, French windows open out onto the garden. You can hear the cries of songs being sung by the peasants.
I like the idea that we have like a garden band playing or something.
Yeah.
Kind of like
make
the
it a whole
deck of the
fete.
Titanic.
Maybe enter Vera wearing peasant blouse and skirt with a kerchief tied around her hair and holding a balalaika. All right, let's start there. But who's in the sitting room when she comes in?
I'm probably there, taking a cup of tea because the judging of the flower show has just been so exhausting that I needed a moment to refresh myself.
So Vera comes in. I think there's enormous change for the viewing audience would be that like she seems happier than she's seemed so far in this whole thing. She's like laughing a little as she comes in. Tantine, it's so delightful out there. You're the women are having so much fun.
Yes, they've brought the most beautiful bouquets for the flower competition. It's a pity that, of course, the gardeners here on the estate have done a much better job as always.
But there's a simplicity to the arrangements they've brought that show the care they've taken, surely. Or perhaps I'm just romanticizing.
Oh, darling, I do love your naive eye for these things. It brings such a refreshing nature to the event.
She sits down on an overstuffed armchair with a big fluff of skirts and starts plucking cords out on the balalaika.
Cool. Marina like just kind of like glances at you and then like looks away and sips her tea. She's very much not enjoying the instrumentation, but she is, being nice and not saying anything.
You must be happy that Uncle Viktor is back.
Yes. And it is very good that he has returned from his travels. The business missed him so, and I also missed him.
Well, tell me again why he had to go to Italy.
oh, you know of these things. And then she rattles off some very like important sounding railroad things about, the quality of steel and the smelting process and the ways that they do things in Europe and how we could bring some of that back to the continent with to maximize profits and, rattles off a couple of numbers that sound very official.
Okay. It's just that Lev Viktorovich told me that Germany is the place to go for steel, though.
Oh, well, I'm so terribly happy to hear that Lev has been paying attention in his lessons again.
Yes, he's quite dutiful. To be honest, he spends quite a lot of time around me. I'm not sure I feel an affection to him, but there's some sort of attachment there. Might dignify with the words friendship.
Vera, I was not aware that you and Lev had grown so close. I would have thought that with all of the time I've been trying to have you spend with Baron Kirill Romanovich, that you wouldn't have had time to dally with, my son, who, should be paying attention to his studies.
Well, it's summer and he's a young man without anything to do, and he has dropped by. I mean, obviously, there's nothing more to it. Can you imagine, Dantine? If Lev and I were to get married, then I would be your daughter.
Vera, no, you really must shoot your sights much higher than Lev. Baron Kirill Romanovich is a very wealthy man who can, set you up in all of the right ways.
I don't know why
He's
you're running
erudite,
down
he's
your own
intelligent.
son so much.
Vera, there are just some things that should not happen because of the way that they connect with each other. And I want you to be happy and I want you to be healthy and I want you to be whole. And I know that the kind of woman that Lev needs is someone of inferior stature, someone that he can feel bigger than, someone he can walk around and push around.
Oh, ma tante. In any case, this is all foolishness. Probably I'll never get married. I should find out what you need to do to become a blue stocking. And yeah, I know that it's not the actual hosiery that counts. But there seem to be so many books they've read. I don't know if I want to read that many books.
Vera Petrovna Semyonova, I will not dignify this conversation by hearing you continue to waste away your life. There are plenty. If you do not like the Baron Kirill Romanovich, I'm happy to find you another suitor. There are many eligible men here and in the city. Just tell me how I may be of service. It is a mark of personal honor that I should set you up with someone who will lead you down the path of happiness.
You're so kind. I fear that you're probably wasting your efforts on me, but I appreciate them, Auntie. I do.
Now, Vera, once again, I must implore you to value yourself a little bit more. I mean, I know that the situation that you have found yourself in, being orphaned and being saddled with, not to be, too harsh, but that woman as your mother, may set you up for a life that you would not enjoy, but that doesn't mean that the days going forward can't be full of adventures.
Wow. Today, at least, is happy. We shall toast His Imperial Majesty's health tonight. Is it true what the old people are saying, that you have ordered illuminations and fireworks?
Well, far be it from me to spoil the surprise, but we may have arranged a small celebration of such a nature.
Well, I shan't tell anybody else. That would spoil it, as you say. And she gets up and goes, Arushka, wait for me. Mother, I must go. They want to show me the beehives.
Just make sure that you're join us on the third floor balcony just after dusk. The Baron will be there.
Yes, Tante. And she goes skipping gaily out.
Marina just deflates a little bit as soon as you go and pours herself another cup of tea. wanders over to the bar and like puts a splash of brandy in it.
You know, at some point, Viktor will have to talk to Marina. I'm kind of curious. I know I probably shouldn't call for this scene. I'm kind of curious what Sergei and Marina's vibe would be now.
I assume that at one point I just point blank asked you if you had an affair. Did you answer truthfully? I'm a very
I still
practical
don't know the
woman.
answer to whether or not he had an affair. So, you know.
Yeah. Oh man, I have to decide this. Okay.
Ultimately, yes, you have to. It's solely on you.
Okay. It's solely on me. It's not that you have a stake on this as well.
Well, yes, but I'm the one who asked, so you're the one who gets to choose.
Okay. Okay. I think because I kind of want to see. Sorry, chat's distracting me. Yeah, I've been in two minds of that. I think I want to see Sergei telling Viktor straight up on screen. I think the away trip has been sadly it has not been Viktor forlornly looking out into the Riviera and wondering what's his lot in life in time for Sergei to come and swoop him away into a magical journey. No, Viktor kept himself busy actually doing other things. So I think, yeah, I don't think there was an affair solely because I, as a player, want to see the actual confession on screen. I think there's just a lot of things. There were moments that were close, I think. But I don't know. Viktor is just too sad about his life and looked too pitiable. So it hadn't occurred. Is that okay, Richard?
That is perfect.
just keep slow burning this. Be fine. We got tonight and next week. So no, there wasn't an affair then. Viktor was being honest about that.
Okay. Then at that point, I don't know. Like, I guess Marina probably believes you, but like for all of the worst reasons, which is basically that she thinks you might be too boring to have an affair. And so, yeah, I think that she probably just, like water under the bridge, just completely just put it out of mind. It was like a single indiscretion. And I suppose that after 20 years, you're allowed one. So.
What a great indiscretion. I'm away for the weekend. The equivalent. Without telling anyone. It wasn't a weekend. It was a bit longer than that.
I was going to say the weekend would only get you to Greece.
And it's like
a full weekend would be your train arriving in somewhere in Eastern Europe. So
that's fair. I do think there's like when Viktor came back, there's like an air of like, water under the bridge. That was just a weird thing that happened. It's nothing else. Just had to get away. Wasn't up to anything. Just needed some air, that sort of thing.
Oh my God, wait. No, I'd rather complicate it instead of it going back to business as usual. What if now that we actually have to work together in like the business, because now I'm not letting go, like we actually spend a lot more FaceTime together and we're like having a little bit more of a détente with each other.
Oh my God.
I personally love that because I've been trying to get Viktor to hire me. Officially.
Mm-hmm. Busy times. Busy. Okay, let's just have this chat then. Viktor will wander into the sitting room. In this I don't know, stage made construction Kat has made. He has been out and about in the state, thanking all the farmers. We're celebrating the name day of the emperor after all. I think he just kind of like walks in, kind of like dusting his hands. Marina, has the flower competition judging started yet?
Oh, it has begun, and of course will go on for another several hours because it seems the entire county has come out for judging.
Well, they put quite a bit of stock on your judgment in terms of flowers. After all, quite a number of people in the state have been singing your praises, my dear. Nearly every farmer I've talked to has asked to pass on their well wishes to yourself. It seems to me you're becoming quite prominent. You became quite prominent here.
Well, dear husband, I actually have you to thank for this. Who knew that when one has weight behind the words that they say and power behind the letters that they write, that one would learn how to suddenly navigate people so much more easily? That little jaunt you took across the continent actually gave me the opportunity I needed to grow into myself a little bit more.
Well, the things one finds out in the absence of others. Viktor say that kind of like, it's like, okay, yeah. It's like an aside to be like, I hope you haven't. I'd hope you didn't find it a bother, but knowing yourself, I'm sure you've mastered any and all such intricacies that that had to do with my business. And even the people in the office have been saying wonderful things about you.
That's just because I bring them all sorts of baked goods from our kitchen. They're very appreciative of these new scones that I've been bringing in. Except for your assistant, who has quite a head on his shoulders. I think that you should promote that assistant and give him a bit more responsibility. He's a very good man.
Oh, I do trust dear young Kovalyov quite a bit, but he has his head up in his clouds. He has dreams, and
yes, the theater. He won't stop talking about it. I've tried many times to convince him otherwise. Everyone knows that a theater is a death knell for your stake in society.
It's a good distraction, but I fear he's far too wedded to it. He certainly has a head for business, and well, given your work and everyone else's work, we're certainly on the way to expansion. In fact, I've been thinking of perhaps extending the business further out west and sending someone over there to perhaps oversee such, or at least someone to help us out, open up further past Russia and into other places. It's good to be working with several other companies, but perhaps it's best to extend ourselves out there. And well, I was thinking that given that we'll need someone who's quite experienced with the ways of the rest of the continent, well, we do know someone who spent quite a bit of time there, and well, like I said, we do know someone who has spent quite a bit of time there, and well, has a bit of time in his hands at the moment. I'm sure you'd find dear Sergio, well up to the task.
Sergei Leonidovich is, by all means, a wonderful and charming person, and I have been able to bring him around to a certain taste of brandies and whiskeys that I have procured. But putting him in charge of the business, dear, I'm not sure about that. I'm really glad that you brought this up, though, because I was thinking, what is better to send someone out to the continent to explore new realms and pick up new traits and test their mettle on the business than perhaps Lev? After all, he will be graduating soon, and it is high time that we set him on his way and perhaps found him a wife.
I think Victor's just, what? Okay. Lev, send him overseas.
It's what all of the
certainly-
young people like to do at this time in their lives. And after all, like maybe he could find some, high society German girl and she could teach him all about steel.
Well, that's certainly a possibility. It's just, he is quite young, and he has grown into manhood, of course.
Darling, he's grown up under your wings. He's been paying attention to every lesson you've ever taught him. He knows trains almost as well as you do.
Well, I would love for all that to be proven true. It's just, this is quite an important venture, and I would have thought perhaps a certain scale of experience would prevail better here, and Marina, you're not really going to if Lev were to be married, you wouldn't. I would have thought you would have a hand in it. After all, the idea of him just finding love in Germany, it sounds romantic, but you're the farmers even says herself, you're the most preeminent matchmaker in this county and beyond. Now, I would have thought it wouldn't be too hard to help Lev find a wife.
Oh, dear husband, Lev wouldn't just be meeting anyone in Germany. You see, Vera's mother very kindly procured for me a list of very eligible young men for her daughter, and those men have families, and those families have very eligible daughters.
Victor, who really feels like the jaws are on him. Did she now? Well, she's certainly quite. She's quite a character. She would know quite a number of prominent German families. In fact, I think she's constantly mentioned that whenever we're in her presence. It all sounds like a wonderful adventure for Lev. But what if he would say no? After all, he has become a man. He might have certain other ideas, certain other pursuits, and it wouldn't be wrong to hear them out first.
Say no. Why would he possibly want to say no if the choice is between, taking out the seat in the family business and continuing to have, travel and leisure time and all of these avenues to express himself, or he can lose his allowance and he can find his way in the city on his own. Dear, and then this is the point where she surprises you a little bit because she walks over and places a hand on your shoulder and says, "Dear Vitya," and uses a nickname, which she never does. And she says, "I think that it is admirable how you have given Lev all of the time to grow and explore who he is. All of his dalliances in university have proven that he has been able to explore those things. And I think now it's time that we bring him to heel. He needs to uphold the family. After all, don't you want to retire someday? Don't you want to travel on your own? Don't you want the free time to do as you please? Why should that be a gift that we give to the youth?"
That all sounds very sound, Marina. That's quite a bit of responsibility to put on him, and I'm glad you believe that he deserves to have that kind of responsibility.
Would it make you feel better if we brought Sergei Leonidovich on as a consultant for a time and sent him with Lev?
That would make me feel better. I wouldn't want to send Lev on his own. University was one thing, but having to deal with so many different cultures and customs and countries out there, well, he could drown. Having Sergei around would alleviate that. I think like I mean Viktor always kind of looks and feels nervous around Marina. That's just his default state. If the two of them, if the two of them are to accompany each other, and go forth on this venture, that would be a tonic to my mind. It's a sound idea.
Well, if that's what it takes to set your mind at ease, I'll have the account ledgers brought up so we can see how we can move some money around. 2 salaries is going to be put quite a dent in things. I don't know what to say other than perhaps Kovalyov will have the chance to start his theater sooner rather than later.
I'm sure he'll be pleased. I'm sure everyone will be pleased. You've done so well bouncing everyone against each other. Really, I'm Marina, I'm a bit in awe.
Oh, darling, I learned everything I know from you. It's only through our partnership that we've been able to get this far.
And look how far we've come.
I think that's a great point where she just pets you on the shoulder again and then like wanders off with her teacup that still smells faintly of brandy and says, all right, back to the judging.
I mean, both barrels. Just both. Just. Fuck.
So who's next?
I don't want to step up to the cage.
And then I guess we have to push Sergei into the circle.
Yeah, there were more than 2 barrels.
Arkady, would you like to have a conversation with Marina? Because I would love to have a conversation with Marina. And
No, I've never actually gotten to have a conversation with Marina. But I don't know what my excuse would be.
You're with Sergei and you're arriving?
That's true. We could get there together.
Do you want for added knife twisting that you can faintly hear Vera singing outside?
I mean, of course, sure. I don't need my intestines for anything. Digestion, life.
and since I'm the only person who knows what's going on and has been sworn to secrecy, all right, I don't know the Marina connection with all of it, but I'm the only one who knows about you, and both of you have made me promise not to tell each other anything or to tell anyone else anything.
We are so dumb.
I mean, I don't think I've made you promise anything, but Vera has.
Vera has made me promise. You made me promise not to tell someone. It may not have been Vera.
Yeah. Great.
Because the most important thing is reaching out to other people for help and then preventing them from helping you.
Yeah, totally. I think it's been a few months now, and Arkasha has bottomed out, and we're gonna see what that's like.
So I think as we're approaching, I am reminding you of the paying careful attention to the things that people don't tell you advice that I wrote to you about some weeks / months ago.
You know what people don't tell you?
What do they not tell you?
They don't tell you the truth. Well, that might be the end of my sentence. No, they don't tell you the truth about women. Because, Sergei, women are ineffable. And they are unknowable. And they will tell you that they love you, and then the next moment they will run off and try to destroy your reputation in the eyes of everyone you care about. Never sleep with an opera singer, is my advice to you. No one told me, and I didn't even sleep with her. I did not have the joy of the fun of the woman part. What time is it?
I want to review what you just said. I would prefer not to do it while you're clearly drunk, but since you are always clearly drunk when we spend time together, I don't think I have a lot of options.
Oh, I feel like I'm about to get a spanking.
Women are not incomprehensible as you assert. Do you fail to understand other women in addition to Vera?
I understand some women, parts of some women, instances, vignettes. I understand women as small collections of scenes that are not necessarily connected.
Then I think you have spent too little time among women.
Explain.
I think you understand women as a set of vignettes or scenes because that is how you spend time with them. They begin to talk about something that you don't find interesting, and so you exit. Stage right, stage left, whichever the first exit you can find.
But isn't that normal?
I'm sorry. Did you think that romantic frustration was not normal?
No, I mean, isn't it normal that the men have our position, coffee and brandy and hunting and politics and reading and building trains, and then women have what women have?
Ah, I see. So the fact that it is normal makes it incumbent on Vera to explain herself to you.
I never said I was talking about Vera. Ah, I have you.
Ah.
Wait.
No, you don't.
I think that I am right, and I'll tell you why. Because perhaps they are not unknowable, but the ones that I have known have made it impossible for me to know them. And there's the rub. There it is.
And yet, when presented with a challenge to what you know, in every other domain of life, you begin to pursue and research that question more deeply. And yet, in this one, presented with a block, you retreat.
Would you suggest that I go on the offensive?
No. But you might find ways to become more inquisitive.
I will go on the offensive.
No.
No, you are correct. I need to pursue Vera until she tells me why it is that she does not love me. And then I will know, and then I can change that about myself, and then she will, and then it will all be all right.
Volkanskaya,
What?
I say very loudly as we approach Marina.
She was just looking at a bouquet of flowers and then turns around and like greets you, and like you see her smile get slightly wider, and you don't know, it's impossible to know if it's the very obviously drunken Count Arkady that you have brought with you, or whether it's you or what could possibly have stretched her just a little bit, but she is indeed pinched.
Madame Volkonskaya, I have, and he hands you sort of a small case of papers. I would appreciate your eyes on these. It is a business opportunity in Italy.
I will leave you two to discuss business.
No,
I'm
please.
going to go socialize.
This is only a brief conversation about business, Arkady.
But I have to go on the offensive.
Indeed, Count Karavasov. Please, remain here, and I'll have someone bring you a fresh cup of coffee. And she like waves down a maid and like has that being brought to you. So of course, it'll be just a moment if you'll be so patient.
I do love coffee.
I'm sure that you'll find it most refreshing. And then turns to Sergei and says, "Yes, Prince Zinoviev. Yes, I assume that these papers. I like the idea that we are like literally at the same garden party. I've just had this conversation with Viktor about this, and then I say something to along the lines of, you know, it is just so serendipitous for you to come across me at this moment in time. And she like flips carelessly through the papers and says, now you know that I don't quite have the head for business that my husband does, but I do know that he is actually about to contact you imminently about a new business venture he would like to propose.
Very interesting. I take it it's on the continent?
Yes, indeed it is. And it is quite the, I think you'll find it to be much more varied in responsibility than a simple this simple proposal. Not that it's simple. This particularly straightforward proposal might incline you to believe. You see, well, let me see if I can say it the way that Viktor said it. And you know, he's much more eloquent than I am. He has the idea that we should start to expand the business out west. And I had the idea that it is high time that my dear son Lev started to find his way in the company. And we both had the idea that perhaps we might be able to do both things at once, and you would be the perfect agent to oversee it.
You're going to marry your son off in Europe.
How perceptive of you.
I thought your son had romantic attachments here, or interest at least, not attachments.
Oh, Lev is rather unaware of what interests him. He needs someone to point him in the right direction, and I have decided to do that.
And the direction is west.
Yes.
I see. And you are aware, I assume, that there are a number of potential distractions once one arrives at the degenerate capitals of Protestant Europe.
Well, you see, Prince Zinoviev, that is exactly why he would have an agent with him. Someone who could help steer him across a very tight itinerary that has been planned well in advance.
I see. Someone to make sure his nose remains on the grindstone.
Yes, and preferably that grindstone is attached to a very wealthy merchant somewhere far away. If I may speak so candidly.
Are you hoping for a title to arrive with this dowry? Or merely investments?
Well, certainly one would hope for both.
I see. So no Americans.
Oh, no, certainly not. I've had enough Americans for the lifetime.
Good Prussian baroness.
Yeah, someone who...
Perhaps an Austrian viscountess.
Yes. Someone upright, someone who can bring a bit more stability to Lev's life. I fear that university has unbalanced him, so he needs to find someone to even him out.
I suspect the youth is the unbalancing factor, but his father matured handsomely.
Yes, his father and I both left our youth behind rather easily, as life tends to make it so. I
How
think that's
is
the point where you see her like kind of like cast a sidelong glance and like happen to like camera pans across Vera. Yes. Well, Lev could stand to be a bit more like us, now couldn't he? And I think that's the point actually where like the coffee arrives, and that's when we notice that Arkady is just gone.
I guess we've been requested, Serafina. I like the idea that Vera is like walking across the fields with her balalaika.
I love this.
Do you want the rain to come up suddenly?
No, I think it's gonna come up while they're talking. We'll pick a nice dramatic moment.
There's a folly in the gardens, right? That
There's
we're gonna end up.
definitely yes. Um, so yeah, she's alone, or is she with people? She's by herself.
I think she's by herself. She's just walking along. She's singing that song that you played in the first novel chapter.
I think she walks past a bunch of bushes, like, and he sort of stumbles out of them, and is like sort of disheveled looking, and he sort of arranges his hair very quickly and brushes a few twigs off of himself and says, "The gardens are really quite labyrinthine. What do you think?"
Count Arkady, what is the meaning of...
The meaning of this is that I got quite lost just then, and have been quite lost in theory generally. I find that life is a bit like a garden. No, women are like gardens. They are beautiful, and no matter how much you tend them, you can still manage to kill them by accident. Not that I've ever killed a woman, but I mean your relationship with a woman. I mean the love that you share. You may overwater it or underwater it or not give it enough sunshine. How are you?
Count, it's bad enough that you've made an entrance worthy of this ridiculous French farce I'm reading, but you seem also to be drunk.
I am. Do you know Latin?
No.
Vino veritas. Although I have not been drinking wine.
Well, I know what that means.
Well, then you do know Latin. See, you're so smart. No.
I can't have this conversation. She starts to stomp.
He's following her and he's explaining, I have not been drinking wine, but I think that it's more the idea that in alcohol one finds the truth, or one purifies oneself down to the most basic version of oneself so one can speak the truth, or know the truth, or see the truth, or be more clear in the head. Although
I find that the only truth drunk men have ever met around me is to drool more and whisper that their wife doesn't love them.
I have no wife. But if I did have one, I suspect she would not love me at this point because I have not been honest about myself or my feelings. And he, like, as she's stomping along, he like steps in front of her and he says, "Do you not like me?"
Arkady Ilyich, I can't have this conversation while you're obviously inebriated. She's dodging left and right all the time while she's saying this.
What conversation are we having?
Any conversation. You're stinking drunk. It's disgraceful.
I will have you know that I'm wearing the latest cologne from, I don't know, his name was Ivan, but it's not from Paris or anything, but it's actually quite nice. I smell amazing.
Arkasha, I don't know what you're trying to do.
You called me Arkasha.
It's bad enough that you had to embarrass me at the only dance I've been to in the last year, but now you accost me
Oh.
on my on dear Marina Stanislavna's
I feel
grounds.
as though it is unfair for you to say that I embarrassed you. I invited you to dance and we danced, and then you abandoned me on the dance floor. In fairness, it is as though you have embarrassed me publicly twice, and I still love you, and I don't understand why you will not have a civil conversation
Wait.
with me in this garden right now, Vera.
If you love me so much, then why did you bring Sveta to the ball?
Oh my goodness. People should tell you. No one tells you about women to not show any attention to an opera singer. She
I
has gone
think
quite
I
mad.
I think that you're drunk right now, and therefore you think you love me. But when you're sober tomorrow, you will love all the rest of Petersburg as you've been busily doing.
I have not loved all of Petersburg. I have loved barely even a 16th of Petersburg.
That's still quite a lot of people.
I mean, if you rule out everyone over a certain age, it's not. Listen, I am not jesting when I say I love you. I am telling you the truth because I am deep in my cups.
Are you just you're just doing this to be cruel to me. You are playing with my emotions
When have I ever been cruel?
constantly since we were little.
When was I cruel when we were little?
Well, you had that capacity. You were thoughtless. You've always been thoughtless.
Well, I am being thoughtful now, and my thoughts are full of you, and
Your
so
thoughts are full of wine.
I would like you to tell me if you like me and why you don't like me, and then I can
Arkady.
change whatever it is that you don't like, and then you will like me, and then we can like each other.
Is this the Peal of Thunder moment?
Yes, I think that's no, it is. Yeah.
We can't. Just starts pouring. It's one of those clouds that just blow up off the step,
Yeah, I love it.
and we have to run for the garden folly.
Yep.
You cry and grab my hand. Do I pull free?
I don't know, it's up to you.
I don't know either. I pull free the first time. What do you do?
I grab your hand again. I'm very sober now because the rain is cold.
So, way I see it is we get inside the folly, and it's one of those moments where we're both drenched and shivering and looking at each other, and then it has to be the.
Yep.
Where did that come from?
I believe he like takes off his jacket and is like wringing it out. I believe it was raised from the fire of your anger at me, all of which I do not understand because up until very recently, I did not think that I had given you any reason to be thoroughly angry with me.
I'm only angry at you because you are hurting me.
How am I hurting you?
The way you always do. The way you do it with your thoughtlessness and your cruelty and how little you think of me.
He takes like a couple long steps towards you and says, I don't think of anything except you.
Then how could you think that I would just so easily turn my back on you?
Because you did.
Because I had to.
And now he like turns around and he like walks away to the other side of the room and then turns around and says, what does that mean?
Arkasha,
Were you blackmailed? Was there some strange man who I now have to shoot?
glared. Well, you won't have to bother. He's dead now.
Well, good. Tell me whose grave it is, and I will go and kick it and scream and shoot it.
Arkady, you know that I care about your honor and your reputation. And the only way I could save the name of your family was to snub you so cruelly that no one would look any closer at the connections between your family and mine. Or at the relations members of your family wished to have.
Is that why you sent
Attentions.
me to Europe?
Attentions that were not returned, but could not be spoken of.
And you didn't want to tell me.
How could I tell you that about your father?
Very easily. Akasha, your father is a cad.
And then what would you have done?
It is not the first time my father has been a cad. Why do you think I stayed so long in Europe? Because I could not stand to watch him cavort his way across Russia. He sent me away and then begged me to return 6 months later, and I refused.
And you would what? Drag this all out into the open and destroy your family name?
No.
Destroy
have
any
understood.
chance at happiness you could have had?
I mean, what is my family name if I have no one to love?
That's very romantic, Arkady, but we both live in the real world.
Yes, and in the real world, my family has more money than Croesus.
Then can you not understand that a real person in the real world was hurting and could not bear the thought of anyone touching her? How could I share that with you? How could I tell you that? How could I say anything? What would you have done? Challenged your father to a duel and been exiled by the Tsar? Should I have followed you to Siberia? Would that have made us happy? We could have been on the frontier, breaking the icy ground with our plow.
You could have trusted me. And you didn't.
He threw me into the bottom of a well, and I could see no daylight. If I erred, take that into consideration.
And once he died?
And my father died too. And what was I to say? I had no idea that you knew any of this. I thought if I said anything, it would just disgust you, make me as tainted as I feel.
Vera, I have grown my entire life in the company of men. I know what men do. And I have heard the things they say, and I have watched how they behave. And you have known me my whole life. And you never thought to yourself that perhaps I would be disgusted by him.
I have no doubt. I just assumed you would also be disgusted with me. And if this ever came out, if anyone else had ever known, it would have destroyed my family. My father was in the ground. My foster mother is... Well, you've met her.
I have. She sent me a threatening letter.
We have no money, Arkasha. Everything is mortgaged. We're living on our own estates, which we sold. We rent from my aunt, who's not even my aunt. She's no relation to me at all.
While she's saying all of this, he's like slowly walking across the room. And he gets a few steps away from you and says,
I have no one. I've never had anyone.
that's not true.
We were friends. We were children. We thought we were in love. It was something that just happened. For all I know, your father threw us together so that he would have a chance. And she turns away weeping.
And he walks up behind her and puts his hands on her arms from behind and says, do you still think that we're in love?
She turns back to him. I've never stopped loving you. but I haven't felt worthy of anything. I thought that if I sacrificed myself for your honor, that that this feeling would be redeemed somehow, but nothing redeems it. Nothing makes me feel any better.
He reaches a hand up and sort of holds the side of her face and says, "He's gone. And there is nothing between us now." We could be happy.
Don't you be cruel to me by making me think that. This is the moment, yes.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely the moment.
This is the kiss.
This is the kiss.
Lightning flashes in the garden.
Yeah.
Something's got to interrupt us, though,
Something has to interrupt us.
so that I can run away.
Oh yeah, totally. Absolutely. I just don't
Can
know
it
what
be
it is.
Viktor wandering in the rain?
Yes.
He just decided to take a walk.
It's
And
just like-
after
Chilling.
Like Vera runs out, leaves the balalaika behind, and dashes back to the house, and already the rain is beginning to stop.
yeah, Viktor, who had not been paying attention, even as the rain has not, as it walked, was like, I think, he wasn't there for the whole conversation. He just like, I think he just saw him, and he was like looking at the two of you from a ways away.
He sort of Arkasha picks up the balalaika and starts to walk in the direction of the house, which is the direction of Viktor. And says, "She forgot her. I'm just gonna."
Of course.
Not awkward at all.
No.
So I need a cigarette, and I don't even smoke.
Yeah, no, I don't know how we're gonna ruin their lives now that they seem to have a chance at happiness, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll
Maybe
figure it
they'll
out.
just be happy. Who fucking knows?
Hey, I usually ride things out. My characters usually do okay, or they're dead.
That's true. That's it. It's one or the other. Yeah.
Yep.
They're either fine or.
Anya was the only one who was basically not getting out of the tragedy spin.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
tough.
Do we want to pick up something else from this novel chapter? Do we need Sergei and Viktor, or are we going to let that sit and stew?
I think we do need to get to at least a failure on screen of Sergei to say anything.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like that.
Maybe maybe we reset with the balcony is now in the background, and people can be walking in and out, and the fireworks can be going off.
Oh, so the rain has stopped.
Yeah. No, it was just a little thundercloud that blew up off the step and is gone now.
Yeah, I'm down for this. I think Viktor has done a lot of talking to more farmers, to all the other, non-player, non-connection characters. Who else is there? His hair is wet. He's changed clothing, for sure, but he does look a bit bedraggled. And that's a statement Sergei finds him.
Are you in your office? Are you outside? Where are you?
I think I'm outside, kind of away from the house at the moment.
Are you with anybody else?
I think I just finished talking to some folks. I think maybe the winners of the flower judging competition. They want to give thanks. I say, no, you have to talk to Marina. She's the one who judged you all worthy. Or there she is. But congratulations on that. Happy name day. And I think that there's like a moment where there's no one else like talking to him. And he's kind of like maybe apart from the crowd, who's like watching the skies in anticipation for the fireworks.
I walk up behind you. Vincentore.
Sergei. It's odd. It's like we were never gone. Seems Russia is big enough to misplace us and big enough to fold us back in. How have you been?
We only arrived home 36 hours ago, I do believe. I've been sleeping off travel. I understand, though, that you had something to discuss with me.
I suppose Marina's told you. She's ever so quick to get to the point. Yes, I wanted to help you out in, as you said, you had been disinherited. So I thought, oh, why not open a position for yourself? Use your experience that you have, and make sure that you be well provided. It does involve, I suppose, going back out to Europe. Certainly a task you're well suited for. Having to chaperone my son wasn't initially in the agenda, but it seems it now is. Well, have you actually met my son recently? I'm sure you have. He has hung out quite a bit with your charge.
He looks so much like you when you were young. And yet, there's a certain intelligence lacking.
Well, it would be unnatural for one to be a carbon copy of their parents. If he's diverged in that way, well,
He lacks both his mother's perceptiveness and your attention to detail.
Well, you can't have everything. No one can.
I suppose not. He does have you as a father, so that's going for him.
Well, I would hate to believe that that is one of the only things my son has going for. Viktor kind of just laugh a bit and say, I suppose the only reason he didn't have whatever I have is, well, he doesn't have someone like you by his side, like I did.
When you were 21, I was 17.
You're saying
We
we
need to find a
should.
very prescient 17-year-old to make sure he makes none of the mistakes that 17-year-old is making, and to advise him to get married as soon as possible. So Lev is going to wander off to Europe and find someone very wealthy who's going to make him very happy.
Well, that's the hope. I think like when Sergei mentions the marry as soon as possible, like Victor's eyes kind of just flick towards like Sergei, but Sergei's passed over that, moved on. So it's like, okay. Mm-hmm.
It's also not what I advise you to do. I'm pretty sure. I had nothing. I had nothing to say. I was dumbstruck by your notion of getting married very quickly.
Well, I did wonder. I have wondered a bit over the years. Why is it that you had not married? But well, Ours is not the reason why.
There will be no contributions to the Zinoviev family line on my behalf. It's the one little ball of spite I can throw at my father. But
You don't have to go to Europe with Lev if you don't want to. I'm sure we can find you something else.
why would I tell you no?
I just want you to know that you have any and all such options.
Is this not something you want me to do?
My friend, I want you to be happy. That's the important part.
I was about to ask if you had any plans to, to become happy. You have made lots of provisions for other people's happiness, and yet you have overlooked something in your planning, which is yourself.
I suppose I have. Well, I suppose it's a bit late to assume all that will be rewarded in the hereafter.
You don't believe that any more than I do.
Well, maybe it's time to start investing in that belief. Perhaps so. I've always been good at investments.
Yes,
Usually they pay off.
except you have not set anything aside for your own happiness either.
I think that's when like the fireworks kind of like start up as Victor's like contemplating answering this question. A few months ago, I could have told you I was the happiest man in the world. In time, perhaps I can tell you that again.
I don't think it was true a few months ago. I don't think it will be true in time, unless there are changes. I can't tell you what the changes should be. But you have raised a good son, or someone who will be a good son. And you have provided for your family and for your tenants. And yet, you want something else.
I think Victor's eyes will drift to where Marina is, as Sergei will kind of say that. What's Marina doing? It's like in the distance, I guess, as the fireworks are happening. Like, what would Victor see?
You'd probably see her like on a raised dais with like a bunch, like the winner of the flower show and a couple of the other like local like well-to-do people of the county having like champagne, and she looks over and smiles and waves at you.
Victor will like, yeah, wave, not necessarily smile, I guess, but looks like he's trying. I want her to look at me back, Sergio. Look at me.
You're still in love with her?
I don't know if this is... I don't know if you would call it love anymore, but it's... It's something, all right.
I'll begin making arrangements with Lev for his departure.
I could learn a thing or two from you.
He gives you a very weak grin and walks into the house.
Yeah, I think Viktor, second seat, and really just kind of stands there and lets someone else walk away from him.
Okay. I'm going to call that a novel chapter so that we don't suffer any longer. Does anyone have any reputation? I got a negative tag. I'm calling it fear of flying because Vera is definitely the kind of person who is afraid to hope. So
Marina picked up Pillar of the Community. So
I have also taken the liberty of starting to go through the questions and secrets list. Congratulations, Arkady. I believe you have earned a reputation token for telling me that you were sent away by your father.
Oh yeah, I did reveal that secret.
Yeah, let's just call it revealed, and the meat of it. The meat of it's there.
The meat there, yeah. Anonymous blobfish.
So I crossed off how long can Vera hold on to her secret. The answer was apparently one epistolary phase.
One.
Or actually 2 novel chapters. Close enough. Can Arkady forgive Vera? I think we've answered that.
Yes, we have, yeah.
The others, not so much. Do we have any new questions? I mean, I think there's some question about our love affair. Like, will it all work out? I don't know what the question is.
I just remembered in the previous upkeep, I said I got a box to create a secret. I forgot to do that. I do have one secret for Viktor. Viktor had an affair at the start of his marriage.
Viktor.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Ready.
I want to put down, will Vera allow herself to hope?
Yeah, actually, I think I want to change that question to I had it in my head. Jesus. It was something like, what disaster could prevent Vera and Arkady from being happy?
Yep. Let's do that.
Will Vera allow herself to hope is a good one.
I put a question of, will Marina and Viktor be able to reconcile their marriage?
Good question. Whatever did happen to Svetlana?
You know, there's this part of me that like thinks that she should come back and try to destroy. I think she.
Yeah. What disaster will threaten Vera and Arkady?
Whatever did happen to Svetlana?
Hurricane
Svetlana.
Oh goodness!
How pregnant is she?
You said you didn't sleep with her.
Yeah,
I didn't, but that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Also, please let's not have the incest happen.
Yes, please. No. This is one of those things we just need to kind of like continue a little to brush up, and everyone go, "Oh." But
maybe that's what makes Marina finally come clean. You cannot marry him; he is your brother.
I mean, it was gonna probably come out that way, either like forcefully or drunkenly. I also had this vision of like Vera accidentally overhearing me like vent to my sister. So
okay.
Well, Marina could find out from Viktor that they were making out in our garden. I just wondered why.
Or hey, you fine fancy bitches, we're in epistolary now, so all kinds of weirdo letters could be exchanged. So Sergei, you're in Germany?
I have no idea where I am. I'm heading to Germany eventually. Well, I'm heading to Europe eventually.
To Prince Sergei Leonidovich Zinoviev from the Princess Vera.
Seems right.
Caro Sergio, thank you very much for the card you sent me from Warsaw. I have never been, though I have always heard that it is a charming city. Though lately I hear that the unrest that was so unfortunate of 2 years ago still lingers in the region, so please continue to take care. I do not know if it was you who did this, or if it was simply your example, or some smiling angel that decided to take pity on me for having finally spoken truth. But things seem to be better with Arkady. I don't hope yet, because having spent so long learning the habit of despair, I find it is a difficult one to give up. It is probably well that I have not taken up smoking like those criminal French girls. I don't know what to do with myself. I feel as nervous as I was when I first became aware of Arkady's interest in me, when the world seemed good and happiness was around every turn in the garden path. And yet I can no longer be as innocent as I was then. I look for the pouncing beast that lies in wait for me, for the dogs that will come and drag me away. I don't know if that's good or simply honest. Perhaps one day you can tell me. Please take care of my aunt's son, and do not get into too much trouble in Germany. I can assure you they are easy to offend and have long and difficult protocols that must be mastered. I have no doubt that you will master them. Right when you can. Affectionately, Vera.
Dear Sergei, I am going to marry her. I have decided. I simply lack the exact details of when or where. Part of me thinks that I should scoop her from her house and simply elope before any other calamity can land directly on our heads. But part of me thinks that that is not the pomp and circumstance that she deserves. I'm sure that you will have some grand idea as to what one must do in these situations, and it will gratify you to learn that I have not taken a drop of alcohol except for the cursory after-dinner palate cleanser, as I do believe that I have told too much truth and been under the influence of too much wine of late. I have recently gotten my tickets to the opera reinstated and would like to go to the theater with you when you're next in town. I do hope that your travels are finding you well. If you have any ideas as to the best way for me to move forward as it comes to Vera, please let me know, as I know that you and she are often in correspondence with one another. I'm going to marry her. I'll see it done. Yours, Arkasha.
I have a letter to the Princess Vera Petrovna Semyonova from the opera singer Svetlana Stanislavovna Kalganova. Dear Princess, I do not know if you recall the brief moment where we met at the party last season. I understand that one of such diminished stature such as myself would likely not make an impression upon someone of your status. However, I write to you with a problem. I fear I can ask advice from no one but you. I seem to find myself in rather a conundrum, and the one at the center of this conundrum is someone that I happen to know you have had experiences with as well, the Count Katavasov. You see, I know it is indelicate to say such things in a letter where one might find it and might share that information more widely, but I find myself in a situation that many women have found themselves in before, and many will again, possibly at the very hands of the Count themselves. I have been held practically captive in my situation. The Count knows and has leveraged this knowledge against me. We have had to reinstate his tickets at the opera, as you may have heard. We have had to find ways to dignify his presence and meet the demands of his loquacious attitudes. We have found ourselves absolutely beholden to his every need and caprice so that he may hopefully take mercy upon us in our hour of need. I know that you have had more than one run-in with the I know that you have had more than one run-in with the Count, and I know that you have at multiple times turned away his advances so readily and so quickly. And I know that you have suffered for it, but I know that you are stronger for it as well. I am hoping to find in this situation that the enemy of my enemy may be my friend. Please, if there is any advice that you could possibly spare to me, any mercy that you could show for my hour of need, I would find you to be the most generous, the most kind, you would find me grateful beyond measure. Yours dearly, Svetlana Stanislavovna Kalganova. P.S. Please feel free to come and visit at one of the performances. I am trying to perform as long as I may before I must exit the stage. I mean, someone did ask if Vera was going to dare to let herself to hope, and we couldn't have that.
Look, the romance plot needs the confession of love and then the final challenge.
I can't follow that. That was a nuclear bomb. I can't do it.
My dearest Viktor, first to the matter at hand. The Italians that I put you in touch with are very interested in your helping to expedite deliveries of German steel as they continue to contest whether the king or the pope is responsible for the installation of the new rail lines. New kings and old popes, I understand, often fight like this. On other business, I do believe that Lev is very close to making a proposal to the daughter of an English marquess who has a German mother and has been staying with her maternal relatives here in Berlin. I doubt that Lev's mother will be delighted. She is a very bright young woman, but opinionated, independent, and has had a I think, positive influence on Lev, though she does tend to exacerbate his bright, opinionated, independent tendencies. If I may be so bold, I would suggest that, well, it has been some months since you have traveled yourself, that on the pretext of finishing off the expedited steel shipments for the Italians, you come to Berlin yourself and have a chance to meet Lady Braxton. And we can pick up on our last conversation while you're here. And Lev will have the blessing and approval of his Russian family before making a proposal. Or, should this be the path you choose, I can suggest to Lady Braxton's aunt that they accompany Lev and I on a return to Petersburg, where you can have a chance to meet them there. Tell me what you prefer, and I will see it happen. Yours. And yours is underlined.
I think Victor will write back. It's sorry, the note in my head of formulating it sounds more business-like than Sergio probably would prefer. Dear Sergio, I'm glad to hear that the business is going well and that Lev has proceeded forward in terms of finding a match. Well, while it is a capital idea to come over to Berlin and meet this Lady Braxton, well, I do believe that Marina would be the expert in terms of ensuring that such a match may be good for our son, and so I do believe she would be happy to meet this Lady Braxton and such family she may have. So if you would be able to escort the whole lot of them, I suppose, back here to Russia, it would be lovely to see all of you once more and to meet this potential new member to our family. It'll be good to see you again. Yours, Victor.
To Viktor Sviatoslavich Volkonsky. From Princess Vera Petrovna Semyonovna. Dear Uncle Victor, I hope you will not find me too forward to use that name. You have always shown the greatest kindness to me, you and your dear lady wife. I write to you as I have nowhere else to turn. I fear that Arkasha, crossed out, Count Katavasov, has fallen into the clutches of an adventuress. She asks for money, and I have none. I would not harm his name. I know of no way to solve this problem, so I must ask for your charity. I have done nothing to merit this, I know. But in my desperation, I thought of you, and you have always been kind to my dear friend, the Prince. You may reach me at your sister-in-law's apartments in St. Petersburg, where I am staying. Yours, most dejectedly, Vera Petrovna.
I have my second letter. Dearest Risa, I have avoided a near catastrophe. I feel very proud of myself for what I have done. I think you shall be very proud of me too. Well, as soon as you are done internally retching. You see, through an unfortunate series of events, apparently my little Lev became infatuated with dear Vera. Yes, I know. Shudder the thought. The second that I heard that she was even bothering to entertain such foolish images, I very quickly arranged to have Lev shipped off to the continent. And as we speak, he's already being betrothed to a young German heiress who will certainly not decorate the family in any way that a more suitable Russian bride would, but solves the problem most readily. My dear sister, I do not know how I am supposed to keep doing this. I do not understand how I am supposed to keep arranging for a happy life for a girl who seems bound and determined to mire herself in tragedy and misfortune. She seems to be specially built to find sadness and suffering wherever she goes. She continues to pine over the Count, who is, as you know, a veritable waste of a human being. There are now rumors, apparently, that that opera singer that he so brazenly brought to the ball is in the family way, as it were. And that still seems not to dissuade her. I still catch her looking longingly. You should have seen her at the Garden Fete. Do not speak a word of this to her, of course, because I do not want to make her feel worse for her situation or drive her in any more dire directions. But if only I could tell her all of the things that a mother should tell a daughter. If only I could step in and take my rightful place from that German Gorgon and bring about the family situation that she should have. If only I could find some way to let her know that she is indeed happily loved and happily taken care of, even from afar, by the woman who has never lost sight of her. When I took up the responsibilities with my father, or with my husband's business, I realized that my lot in life, no matter how much he pushed me, was not to find joy, not to find happiness. It was to do business. And so I will engage in the business of trains, I will engage in the business of matchmaking, and I will engage in the business of making sure everyone does their lives the best way possible, because they all seem incapable of doing it on their own. So, whether I am a business partner in the shadows, whether I'm a mother in the shadows, whether I am a woman in the shadows, because a woman's pleasure seems to be very below all of my other responsibilities as well, I shall pursue my lot in life. I will come out at some point and partake of your Parisian poetry and drink far too much of your champagne again. Because if I am expected to carry all of this, I must find at least one time a season to put it all down. And dear sister, you are the only person who allows me to put it all down. Always my love, Marina. And heck yes, that letter can get found.
Found by who, though?
Oh, like, wait, who's asking for it?
I am, because it's my turn now.
Oh, when you said you wanted the letter, oh, I thought that was okay. Yeah, sure.
Great.
It doesn't really matter whose hands that letter falls into.
Oh no, I think you should totally. And don't forget, you have a no joke resolve token there, Arkady, that you could just spend rather than your reputation tag. So I should point out that we have now given Daryl a resolve token.
That was dumb of us.
Well, it couldn't be helped. Secret came out. We're all doomed.
Yep. I have a letter that is for sure not going to end in a murder investigation. From A to Svetlana Stanislavovna Kalganova. I have heard of your interference. I am coming to you. A.
To Vera. I have found a few collections of sheet music that I thought you would appreciate. Princess. And I'm enclosing them in the accompanying package. I am soon to bring your cousin home with a fiancé or a potential fiancé in tow. She's English, but I ask you not to hold that against her. I used to be of the opinion that I could give advice to Arkady. And I am beginning to despair of my ability to speak frankly. So I will say this to you instead. If you would love each other, please, please, do not hide things. I did not tell anything that you shared with me, but I did beseech him to talk openly to you about what he wanted. You will understand this about men, though. They are unlikely to remember good advice, even when it has worked out for them before. So I'm sharing this with you. Whatever you want, whatever seems like a good idea, whatever your hopes are, be direct with him. As in all things that old people say to young people, results are not at all guaranteed. But I think you will find this less prone to despair and frustration than the habits that Russians and Europeans share of loving keeping secrets. I look forward to seeing you again in Russia soon with Lev and potential fiancé in tow. Yours, Zinoviev.
Yeah, I think Viktor is going to respond back to Vera. There's Vera. I do not know what sort of distress has fallen upon you, but know that however I can do, well, however myself and Marina can do to help, whatever it is at your disposal. You need not ask so plaintively. I could pry ever more about what has befallen you, but that is only, I would know only if you choose to volunteer such information. I understand when certain when it feels as if the world has conspired to reign upon what seems to be right. And I would not ask you to unburden yourself for the sake of my clarity. I only know that you are in need of help, and I can provide such help, whatever that may be. You have become quite dear to us, and I would hate for that to end. Whatever you need, I will gladly provide. And next we see you, I hope you'll be in better times. Yours, as always, Viktor Sviastolavic Volkonsky.
Hey guys, if we stay just a little late, we can get another novel chapter. And I have an idea for one that could be relatively short. Clearly, we need to go to the opera and and I think Vera and Viktor are there to try and make the payoff. Arkady is probably going to show up in all the wrong ways.
Probably, yeah.
And I'm not sure if it should be Sergei or Lev who's in on this. I mean, I could totally see Lev coming with Arkady to do the deed.
With fiance in tow, I am not letting Lev wander into the sights of a scandal.
That was what Marina would have said.
Did she dispatch Sergei to watch out for the family interests then?
Or does Marina know what Victor and Vera are up to?
I actually love the idea that Victor has somehow kept this from Marina, and that she just heard about Arkady through the grapevine because Sveta has not been very tight-lipped with it.
Yeah, this is Victor's idea of rebellion. It's like,
I was-
I'm not gonna tell Marina that we're helping her. This very nice girl, yeah, that we dote upon.
She probably would have been furious to know that she'd gotten wrapped up in another one of Arkady's schemes again.
I do
And we're
have
just trying to
schemes.
spare her.
So maybe it's Sergei comes in at an appropriate moment to try and rescue Arkady.
That seems
To,
right.
Keep Arkady from doing something
He will infamously
inevitable
regret.
regret.
That works for me.
Mhm.
I mean,
Okay.
it's definitely after hours at the opera.
Yeah, I was thinking
or
this
during the interval maybe, and like
Mm.
backstage, or right at the end of the show, backstage. So the set is just ropes and everything, and then on the left side is her dressing room.
Yep.
So plenty of opportunities for people to sneak in there while the other people are out in the other room.
Yep. Yeah, I think she comes back after the show and he's already in her room.
Is that how we want to start it?
I'm down. We can start wherever you want, but he's
I
gonna
was
be in there.
thinking that could happen, but we open with Vera and Victor there, and Vera wearing the grayest, plainest dress and a veil that she could find.
a real quick scene of Victor and Vera moving towards the back, and then do a scene of
Yeah.
Arkady and Svetlana already in the dressing room,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
God.
and then Sergei storming in to try to prevent murder.
Good
Seems
plan.
right.
God.
She said she would meet us here. Where is she, Uncle?
I'm sure. Well, I'm sure it takes a little amount of time to slip away from this production to get on with this skullduggery of hers. Are you sure you want to be here, Vera? I'm well able to.
I need to look at her. I'll know if she's lying. She could be lying. She could just be playing on me. Everybody knows Everybody knows about me.
Well, everyone may think they know about you, but clearly there's been some. Clearly, they're mistaken. It'll be fine. You don't need to do more than just exchange some pleasantries and be off, and you need not think about this anymore.
I hope so. What kind of if I think too hard about what kind of a person she is, then I have to think too hard about what kind of a person. She just lets that fade off.
And they're just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You better.
I think spotlight can definitely come up now on the dressing room.
Cool. When she steps into the room, the door closes behind her because he was leaning up against the wall behind it.
Oh, Arkady. I didn't know you were coming to this evening's performance.
Well, I came for a performance, but not the one you give on stage.
Yes, you're very familiar with my performances. I'm surprised you haven't come sooner for an encore.
You know that I am not the one who got you with child.
I know
It's
no such
impossible.
thing. There's so many
impossible.
things that are possible in the world, Arkady.
I am not so much a fool or so young a man that I do not understand how babies are made.
Oh no, I'm sure you are very well aware of how they are made. I'm sure you are very well aware that you could have made one with me.
Could have, did not.
We spent many evenings gallivanting across the city.
Gallivanting across the city, touching elbows and holding hands does not a child make.
Yes, well, you can say touching elbows and holding hands, but we spent many carriage rides going to and fro.
He like strides across the space between the two of them and like grabs her by her upper arms and says, "Why are you trying to ruin me?"
Why did you think that you could just easily use me as your plaything and then throw me away?
I did not use you as a plaything. I brought you to a party.
Yes, apparently to lord me in the face of some small loose stocking.
I wasn't lording you in anyone's face. You mean Vera? Just because she happened to be there?
Who happened to be there. Apparently, you follow her around rather frequently. That's all that
We are
anyone
in
talks about.
society together. Our families are connected.
And yet, she continuously spurns you. So you dally around with women of the opera, gallivanting here, there, and everywhere until your mother tells you not to.
My mother has certain ideas about my reputation, and apparently she was correct.
Well,
I
there
never
are
should have
a number.
wasted my time with you.
Well, there are a number of differing opinions on your reputation, Arkady.
You need to leave me alone, or it will go badly for you.
I will gladly leave you alone, just so long as I know that I and my child are taken care of.
That child is not mine.
For all intents and
Whose is
purposes,
it?
at this point, it is.
If you had merely asked me for my help, I would have helped you. But
I
now you have
did.
made me a laughingstock.
Well, I definitely don't recall that letter you sending me sounding like a glowing recommendation for assistance in my time of need. You seemed much more interested in retaining your box seats than you did about retaining any kind of relationship with me.
I don't want a romantic relationship with you.
I am very used to rich men like you throwing me away when you get tired of me, but I am not used to having to part ways without anything in hand.
Well, then what can I give you?
Well, I know that, for instance, that darling little field mouse of yours is actually on her way here right now to help solve your problem. So perhaps you could give me what she's going to give me.
Now would be a good time for Sergei to come into the room because he's definitely going to kill her. This is about the moment that he like whisper shouts, "You told Vera about this?" And you can see the murder enter his eyes.
Yeah, I think the door opens and I think, thank God your voice is easily recognizable.
He's
Oh, thank
still
goodness you're
holding on to
here.
her.
He's threatening me.
Threatening you how?
He is a man who is putting his hands on me, and he is not allowed to put his hands on me this time.
Arkasha, would you please unhand her and step away?
He unhands her, but not gently.
She goes and like places hands on her stomach in a very obvious kind of way and like slinks to the other side of the room.
Ugh.
I'm not playing good people here.
No, you're not. You're not. He stalks over to Sergei and like stands directly in front of him and says, "I thank you for stopping me from doing something regrettable, but help me fix this."
Yes, I'm just a problem that he can make go away.
You don't just want money, do you?
Money is about all I can ask for in this situation. What else would I possibly want?
If you wanted money, you should have simply asked Arkady for it. The Katavasovs are not poor.
This Karavasov made
I'm sorry.
this Karavasov made very clear that he would not entertain any such entanglements anymore.
Arkady, the child isn't yours, is it?
It is not.
Yes, and of course, a lord's word is always going to be more honest and upright than mine.
In this instance, yes.
Of course, I'm just a poor opera girl lying and scheming my way to any kind of money I can find. That's, of course, what you'll tell everyone as you try to push these away.
In this instance, yes.
You fickle thing, of course.
I'm a fickle thing?
Trust that Arkady
Okay,
is...
you're muted.
I'm telling you, Uncle Victor, I'm hearing voices. I think they're in.
Son of a bitch. And he just like, he sees your face and actually like turns away and starts running his hands through his hair. And it's just like, I can't.
Arkady Ilyich.
Vera. Of course.
Madam Kalganov. It feels it's been forever.
Princess Semyonova, I am so terribly sorry for you to catch us in such a state at this moment. She's not sorry at all.
No, she's not.
Vera,
Sergio.
I'm sorry I've not had a chance to speak to you since I have returned Viktor.
Well, the coming of Prince Zinoviev is like the coming of our Lord. It's like a thief in the night, apparently.
Yes, well,
May I ask, what is the occasion of this happy little gathering?
I would be more than happy to answer, Princess Semyonova. And she struts out into the middle of the room and says, you see, the Count here was trying to convince me that his child is not his child and that he should bear no responsibility for this situation.
He's pacing back and forth and muttering to himself. And all you hear is like every 10th word. And it's like, child, not mine. Vera, opera singers, the truth about women.
I see. Well, you had written to me, of course. I thought I was doing a favor for Arkady to try and keep this scandal away from him, though it seems that he's known about it all along. Perhaps I should not be so surprised.
I know about it because she is accusing me of a thing that I have not done.
Did you write to him, Mademoiselle Kalganova?
I did no such thing after his last letter that told me that he should happily part ways and never hear music again if it meant making his mother happy.
I think she looks at Arkady for a second and realized that you had tossed her over, probably for her, but it's like also too much is happening. I see. Well,
Vera, if my opinion holds any weight, I do not think that Arkasha is lying.
Thank you, Sergei. And then he kind of looks at Vera, looks at the look on Vera's face, and is like, I'll just...
but then why would she say such a thing? And throw her own reputation into the gutter.
Perhaps
Truly,
because
I
the
am only
alternative- Perhaps because the alternative was throwing it even lower than myself.
That is not the only alternative.
I think Vera sinks to onto a chair. Like, I don't understand what is happening, or who I am to believe.
Well, dear princess, of course, as the only one without a title in this room, I'm assuming, sir, gestures at Viktor, you are, of course, expected to believe your peers and the men in your life. After all, I am just a woman, and the only thing I have is my name and my opinion.
don't think I am so quick to trust in men. But don't also think, mademoiselle, that you can simply claim virtue of your sisterhood with me as if that will heal any of the gulfs between us.
Yes, I am well aware of the gulfs between me, myself and everyone else who stands around me.
As to why she would say such a thing, she is, of course, about to become a mother, and given the opportunity, would want to give her child a name. And Katavasov would certainly be a believable one, would it not?
It's understandable to want to give a child without a father a name. And Vera looks very far away right now.
Madam, if I may suggest that Katavasov is certainly an acceptable, notable name, one with a certain family history and dignity. But Zinoviev is an even older one.
Leandro and I just did the same face.
I think the
Sergei,
entire
are you-
room is stunned.
Sergei, are you
Sergei.
what I think you're saying?
You may certainly claim, without any contest on my part, that the child is mine.
My dear prince, I have not made my claims as to the parentage of my child widely known. However,
They
it
are.
will
They are more
certainly-
widely known than you may have thought.
Yes, and to suddenly change the supposed parentage of my child this late into the play will certainly raise questions. Why am I to take your word as any more true than his?
Would you like me to sign a document? A civil marriage? Would a civil marriage suit you?
Sergei, this
That would be morganatic, Sergio. The Tsar would never allow you to marry her. Not at court. You'll be exiled, you'll be exiled from Petersburg just on the rumor of having a bastard child. With an opera singer.
You don't have to do this for me.
I'm afraid I've never liked Petersburg.
It is a shame because I do love it so, but if you're willing to step up and be the man that this one is not, then perhaps I should take you up on that offer.
I think at that point I make sure I'm like keeping my arm in front of you.
Yeah, because he definitely moves forward when she says that.
But yeah, basically Sveta will accept your very ill-advised proposal for marriage in order to make all of this go away.
But I should point out that Sergei doesn't have that much money, right?
I have no money, but I am gifting you with the family Zinoviev.
Also,
So,
she
all
doesn't
I
know
mean
he has
is-
no money.
All I mean is that Viktor probably still has to hand over the money.
no, yeah. That's a good drop in the bucket for him. It's fine.
Yeah, and I mean, technically he's been disinherited, but like the key part of that disinheritance was that
Officially, it was I have not technically been disinherited yet. I've just been telling people I've been disinherited.
Hey, you legitimize the kid. You'll satisfy your dad.
Mhm.
This is
And
gonna
then I
work
send
out
you,
fine.
and then I never interact with you again.
Right. I mean, your
if you're
family's
not
very rich. They'll take care of me.
if you're not planning to be a court, you could definitely marry a commoner. It's just, the czar would never allow that as like a court marriage. But if you're out in the country, no one's gonna care. Mademoiselle, I fear I'm asking something out of place, but would you mind giving me the room for a moment?
You can tell, like, she and I are both calculating right now. And realizes that you're probably not the most dastardly in the one in the room, so I can probably trust whatever you're gonna do. And acquiesces.
I would speak with the prince if I might. And just looks with that 1,000-yard puppy dog stare she has, which probably is making everybody involuntarily step towards the door.
Yeah.
So if you want to say something, Arkash, on your way out.
He really doesn't know what to say. He's sort of 1,000-yard stares his way out the door.
Victor's just gonna like take Arkasha over like the shoulders and like
It's probably
"All right."
wise.
But
Yeah.
Victor's thinking, this is why I don't have adventures. Sergio, are you sure this is what you want to do?
What options do we have?
I have no claim on you that would make you need to do this for me. I don't know that Arkady deserves it.
I said, what options do we have?
I suppose we could just keep paying her money and she'd go away soon enough.
Arkasha was never recovered from you.
You make it sound like a wound or a disease.
You have seen the far away, distant, slowly wasting away for the sake of love look in his eyes. So, and you know what the poets insist it is like.
I think grief can do one of two things for us, Sergio. It can either make us more of what we were, or it can make us grow and change. I think I have done the latter, but I'm not sure about Arkady.
The question is, do you want to find out?
Well, obviously tonight I had to confront a side of him that I knew was there. Whatever the truth of his affair with her is, we all thought it plausible.
I knew it was implausible.
I did not. I thought it very plausible, which is why I acted as I did.
I wouldn't blame you.
You don't have to do this, Sergei. We'll find a way. I don't want you to feel that beholden to me.
One day, if you were to grow up to be brokenhearted and in your 15 years older than all your friends, all my friends but one, you would one day be given a chance to prevent someone from making them unhappy. Let me take that chance.
I can't reciprocate, Sergei.
If you could reciprocate, then it wouldn't be a gift. It would be a business exchange.
You have been kind to me. You have been to me what you tried to be to Arkady. You have taught me how to see. And she stands up and touches you on your forearms. Says, I am so sorry. I too know what it is like to be so close to someone you love.
Well, then you can teach me what it's like to move forward with it, even when you're doubting whether it's advisable or not.
Be of good cheer. Perhaps your new lady wife will get a job at La Fenice or Vienna.
Oh, no. Part of our agreement will be she does not leave Russia, and I do.
You've learned cruelty well.
She doesn't like me, I don't like her. I don't know why we should spend time making each other miserable. She can go make my father miserable. She'll enjoy it. He'll bemoan it.
I suppose wearing a
And,
cuckold's horns is just what your father deserved.
And really, anyone that cunning and clever deserves to have someone underfoot who they can take out their cunning and cleverness on, who deserves it.
Well, we should not allow the others. She gets up and goes out. Viktor Sviatoslavich, may I ride with you back to the estate?
Yeah, I think I don't know if Viktor and Arkady have been talking much. They probably just look grim as all this is like sinking in. And Viktor will look up and be like, "Of course."
I will send to your sister tomorrow for my things. I have the strangest feeling. I wish to be with my foster mother.
Svetlana, I'll send a letter with arrangements tomorrow. We cannot, of course, draw up a formal contract, but I think you will understand the terms set out in the letter.
I'm more than happy to acquiesce. And I will look forward to your letter tomorrow morning.
Of course.
Um,
And once we are married, may we have the joy of knowing that my father will be dealing with you.
I will happily bear whatever you put in my path.
Je suis vraiment très heureux. C'est l'occasion de votre mariage, princesse.
So before Vera leaves, can I snag her for 1 second?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Arkady, I think you're like following along behind Viktor on your way up the hallway, and just before everybody kind of like goes into whatever public space we're about to go into, Arkady sort of gently, Arkady grabs Vera by the arm and says, "It has been my experience that the more one protests one's innocence, the more guilty one is. I am not going to profess my innocence to you. What I am hoping for is that you will make your own decision and that it will be the right one."
Do you remember when we were first courting and you used to read Onegin to me? And like every Russian girl, I called myself Tatiana. That may have been prophetic. Let us not think of it tonight. Let us not sully what the best friend either of us will ever have has done with our own mercenary concerns. Were I you, I will just say this. You should stop raging at the man who is never your father and fall at the feet of the one who is. Good night, Arkasha. I'll write to you from the country.
Yeah, no, he has no, he doesn't, he can't, he says nothing. He stands in the dark hallway by himself for a long time.
I would like to help Viktor into the carriage.
Yeah, Viktor has been just contemplating all this. It's kind of like, that's like you said, you've never liked Petersburg.
It will satisfy that bitter, spiteful old man. Or at least make him regret everything he's ever thought, said, or done in regard to me.
Is it worth going through all this for that?
I regret that I will no longer be able to speak as a friend of Lev's with his fiancée here, and will need to make myself scarce from your estate on his behalf. I assume that Marina will not be delighted with my change in reputation. And certainly the Braxton family would not be either, nor their German counterparts. But you know, I love to travel in Italy, and I don't think an Italian would blink an eye at anything that we've said or done. Or at least no Italian I've ever met. Besides, aren't we supposed to get married?
Well, I would hope you. Yes, I just thought that, well, it always seemed to me that you'd hope for something loftier than just marriage.
Loftier than marriage?
Yes, that. I never brought up and asked why you didn't marry, because it seemed so plainly clear that you didn't need it. Or at least just that the do you have to go so soon?
I am certain until we finalize the arrangements that I can live a scandalous and debauched life in a seedy hotel on the edge of Petersburg. And then we can travel out to the country and then make the arrangements there. And then I will need to return to Italy at that point. And I apologize that I have misled you. I did not marry, not because I had some better, loftier, or grander arrangement. I did not marry because the person I was in love with was not available to marry.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I had sort of always imagined that I would recover and find some way to move on with a traditional life, but it never happened. I fall in love rarely, Victor, and replacing someone I've fallen in love with is not something I have found a way to do.
And this is the way you found, take the deepest plunge you can.
One gets few chances in life to really help one's friends.
You've proven to be an infinitely better friend than most for doing this.
I had an excellent model on good friendship.
Well, if you want a model, you want another model on having a love that doesn't seem to be shared back, well, you know who to talk to about that.
You'll come visit me in the city until I leave, and I trust you will finally travel to Italy.
I'm sure I'll be terribly shocked after all this time to find a country not living up to what I've been told. Can there be like just this moment that kind of like there's silence and it just kind of like settles and it looks like, well, there's a lot of tension, and that's when Vera shows up. Like they're just kind of like letting some implications maybe sinking into their minds, and
I think that's
Mhm.
when I give up the hope that I'm going to get up the courage to lean in and kiss you, and instead lean in and kiss you like the socially acceptable way on both cheeks.
They just hand me up into the carriage. All right, let's fade to black on this. If you want to take a second and see if you have any reputation ideas, just so that you don't forget for next time.
I'm
Otherwise,
rooting so hard for you gay assholes.
yeah, seriously, we're gonna need to kill it in the final novel chapter.
Oh my god. We're gonna need to kill it dead. Oh, I think I might be effed.
Yeah, I managed to get the perfect Vera combination: virtuous and masochist. So
Great. Super good. Oh no. Oh no.
Part of me is just like, can Sveta get a reputation tag? Because
I know, right?
she deserves one.
Sveta deserves like so
100 reputation tags.
100 reputation tags to this NPC. What should my negative reputation tag be?
boy.
Yep. I'm even putting it in lowercase. Yeah. I took Svengali.
Who's your Svengali?
Fucking Sveta.
Oh no.
She's getting exactly what she wants.
Oh no. So bad. You're so horrified.
It's real rough over here, you guys.
I don't know how I've gone this whole game without getting a negative reputation tag. Oh, by the way, I specifically will not ask Svetlana to give up the opera.
You're just the
I
worst.
don't think she will.
No, I specifically will not.
Yeah, no, I think she'll go
scandalous
right
you are,
back.
the more horrendous you are to by my father's standards, the more that's the one bright light in all of this for me.
What's weird is
Yeah.
that Sergei's kind of getting what he wants. Like, he doesn't want a loving marriage with a woman. He wants to be able to have like the social freedom of having a wife he hates.
I mean, it is a Russian tradition.
It is.
Also, a wife
From what I
with
can tell, it's the
absolutely
straight tradition.
zero delusions or illusions.
Yeah.
This is fair.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're okay with, quote unquote, fathering a couple more kids over the next 10 years, like that'll happen too.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh no, we will not be seeing each other.
Oh yeah, no, that's the quote unquote part.
Yeah, that's
Fathering.
yeah. Oh, right. Right.
I want to go back.
Sorry, it was
So I made a
lost on me
reference-
for a second, but yes.
Thank you guys so much for staying late.
God, I miss playing with you. I've not been caught in a Daryl trap in a long time.
She was sad.
Well, the difference here is that cat characters are not usually in Daryl characters' sights. So
Oh, I
That is
know.
true. That's true. Yeah.
Clever that way. It's happened twice before though, and both times I managed to. Yeah, the one time I'm 50-50 here. I mean, I dodged Timosha, even
yeah,
though she had to go to that Hall of Horrors, our most gothic chapter.
Most
Oh, I
gothic.
love it.
We'll find out. Either we got the first half or we didn't. If we didn't, we didn't. Life goes on. It's less editing for me to have
We
to
miss
do.
our good kiss moment, but that's okay.
I know. Well,
It'll be okay.
it can never be repeated, Serafina. It was just
Can't.
too good a scene.
Can't
It's too
be
good a scene.
repeated. There's only so much.
All right. I believe Lev and Victor were in the middle of making each other very uncomfortable.
Yes.
I mean, Sergei and Viktor.
Yeah, yes. Yes.
Lev
Yeah.
makes everyone uncomfortable all the time just by
Yes.
being Lev.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why we love him. Question mark.
I think you love him because it's hard to, because the only other choice is to hate him. You can't like him.
It's just
Liking
the two
Lev is off
extremes.
the table. You can only love or hate him.
God.
Those are the rules.
Mm.
Oh, it's so cute. Sorry, I just alarmed the dog with that noise.
I just imagine Emmett's little internal thought bubble being like, "That's not the voice she uses to tell me. They used to tell me I'm cute."
Yeah.
Apparently, while I was not paying attention, Shadow is now in residence. So
Loki was in my lap the whole time until I made an alarming gesture
yeah,
during one of my drunken monologues. And
I have
now he's sitting on this side of the computer.
How does
Excellent
she
the
carry
question.
that?
magic 8 ball that's coming up to signs point to no.
Ask again later. Ask again later.
The circle of bastardry must continue.
The circle of bastardry.
All right.
Was the bastard circle a perfect circle?
Well, there's a chance.
I want a DNA test.
We don't have those in 18th century Russia.
No, but I want one.
It turns out that the father is a Katavasov, but it's you, Konstantin Sergeyevich. Yeah, okay. Here you go.
Like you can't just escalate to the confession of love and leave. You have to have the
Boss battle.
yeah.
Suddenly there's a lot of health potions around Arkady's house. He's like, man, I don't remember buying all these health potions.
It's like 3 save points. What is this? Oh, did the music just get more ominous? What's happening?
Why is the ground shaking?
This doesn't seem right.
Well, see, that's going to drive that whole case of that landlady getting massacred by an axe right off the front pages.
It's gonna go super well. It's gonna be
That
fine.
didn't involve any members of the aristocracy. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah, that's why it's going to get driven off the front pages.
right?
Yeah. Because when aristos start killing people, it's interesting. Aw.
I like the idea that I'm just like milking them for all it's worth, and then you burst in.
I'm sure Victor didn't want me to come, but I want to see her face.
That makes sense.
I mean, you could see it on the stage, dear.
Yikes.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
That is some big Daryl.
Big
We
Daryl.
want to do
It's a very short turn of the wheel to get us to crime and punishment. Just saying.
It's just right there.
after 3 years of friendship, I have finally stumped Fina.
Oh my god. I am practically screaming in my apartment. God. God damn it.
Yeah,
It's
here we
tough.
are.
It's tough for a white, straight, aristocratic Russian boy. It's really difficult.
I mean, take out white and straight, just Russian. It is tough.
No
It's
no lies detected.
No lies detected. It's really difficult when you have all this money and position. God.
I'll note that once again, I'm the only character that's in color in the face claim. So you know, just my feelings are special. Damn it, they're deeper than yours.
I feel like my character is in color. He just exists in black and white.
Yeah, pretty much. Seriously, you're definitely an early Morrissey song.
Oh yeah, 1000%. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever the string quartet version of The Cure is, you have their poster up in your room. Yeah, if it comes to that, I got a stock footage library. I'll just put in some stock footage and do some voiceover. We'll be good.